How's it going, guys? This is Realla photographer based in Tokyo. So, while previously in my previous video talked about like shooting around Hiroshima area with my main film camera, which is my GW690, while I was actually traveling around in the Hiroshima area, I was able to smash in a visit towards sort of like a local film camera shop. And for you guys who know my channel, I sometimes make like contents dedicated towards like film camera shops, and there might be this instance or event where some of my viewers or my followers might be traveling towards Hiroshima, and along with that visit or traveling, you guys might be interested in visiting a camera store around this area. So in this video, I'll be sort of like covering just one camera shop that I was able to visit, and along with that, before going into that main topic, there's actually 2 or 3 film camera shops around in Hiroshima which I wasn't able to sort of like visit due to time constraints. So I'll say that beforehand and then talk about the camera visit that I went to. So yeah. Okay, so before going to that one specific camera shop, which is called Nisshindou Camera, there's actually 3 famous film camera shops around in Hiroshima. One is Masuya Camera Store, and another one is Aurora Camera. I cannot vouch on those two because I never visited them. I only checked via Google Street View and also maps and reviews and stuff like that. But if I'm right, they're still in operations. And what's kind of hilarious was that I did not notice until I visited Nishindo Camera, and after I came back and I did a thorough research around that area, is that the camera shop that I visited and the other 2 camera shops that I just said, Nishindo Camera and Masuya Camera and Aurora Camera, those 3, if I'm right, exist really in a similar area or perimeter, if I'm right. So maybe you can like basically like visit all 3 of them in one go, but don't I can't vouch on that because due to the fact that I haven't visited those 2 other like camera stores, but those 2 exist. And another famous one camera shop that exists in Hiroshima is Kamera no Saeda, if I'm right, which is kind of similar in a sense to Kitamura by looking at their storefront and looking at their interiors. They sell like various types of camera accessories along with cameras, point and shoots, film stocks. So in a sense, I think it's like kind of similar to camera Kitamura in Tokyo, Japan. So yeah, those 3 exist in Hiroshima, and unfortunately, I did not have time to like cover them. So in this video, I basically am covering just one, which is Nishindo Camera. Going back onto topic, Nishindo Camera is located roughly 10 to 15 minutes away from Hiroshima's south exit, if I'm right, or AKA the Hiroden, aka station. If you guys know about Hiroshima Station, there's like 2 exits. There's a north and a south exit. The north exit is actually where the bus goes towards the airport, sort of like a bus terminal. And the opposite south exit is actually where the local Hiroden like sort of like station is situated. And from there, you basically walk roughly 10 to 15 minutes. So it's not a far away walk. However, that's actually where Nishindo Camera exists. And they have been in business for roughly 70 years or so, if I'm right. So they've been actually ever since the X Day happened in Hiroshima, they still are in business. And it has a sort of like a similar vibe or sort of like atmosphere to Lucky Camera in a sense in Tokyo, but not too, how should I say, crowded, or as in sort of like in terms of how they have their products like listed. It's like really cleanly organized, but not to the extent of being organized to the point where each and every camera is sort of like differentiated in terms of like formats. If you look at the footage that I kind of posted it for you guys, you can tell that there's like 35 mil point and shoots, medium format. It's kind of like in a way messed up in a sense. So it's kind of like searching for the ideal camera in terms of store wise. And what's rather intriguing is they also have a bunch of 4x5s and 8x10 cameras in stores. So if you're actually looking for that, and also like tripods, they have that for you. And what was like really intriguing was they had a slide projector, if I'm right, probably a 35 mm format, being sort of like sold within their store, which was really fascinating. Not to mention they had sort of like used Lee filters. I'm not in the field of, for how should I say, as a landscape photographer, but if you're in the field of landscape photography, I think a lot of people use Lee filters, so they have that in store. And it's kind of really unique going to these sort of like, how should I say, like countryside film camera shops, because the what you call the lineup of cameras is completely different compared to going to stores in Tokyo, Japan, where they have almost everything. However, the countryside, on the other hand, has this sort of like distinctive feature of having really distinctive cameras, lenses, selections, and also equipments in terms of accessory wise. So it's a really nice area to like check out, in my opinion. During my visit, I was able to purchase this sort of like bag actually. I don't know if you can see it. Of films actually. One film stock is actually a film stock that I actually really which is really a ace actually in a box, almost in prime condition. And along with that, it was in bundled together with Fuji 100G. And I do not know the sort of like the background story of Fuji 100G, but if I'm right, it's sort of like the predecessor of Fuji Color series and a Superior series before those two came out, and Velvia series before those two came out. This actually was sort of like the Kodak 100, sort of like alternative, if I'm right, which is still sealed actually, but I'm not sure if this will actually show any image. But I was able to grab like 5 medium format film rolls at that Nisshindou Camera Visit, and I have to say, like, what's great about these sort of like camera stores on the countryside is that, unlike the camera stores in Tokyo where time is sort of like going at a really fast pace, when you go to the stores, especially in the countryside, the time feels so slow. It has a slow paced environment that it's you can easily lose track of time, and before you know it, that's basically the reason why I kind of sort of like wasn't able to visit the other 2, 3 sort of like camera stores, because time flew so slow in a sense, but it went really fast that I was basically talking with sort of like the owner there about my journey, basically traveling around, showing my camera, my GW690, and shooting around in Hiroshima actually. And that was actually my main reason I sort of like lost the opportunity of visiting the other stores, unfortunately. But that's basically it on talking about Nishindo Camera. And it's like I said, there's like 3 camera shops located in the Hiroshima area, especially close to the station itself. So it's like really easy to sort of like get by and easily lose track that those like camera stores exist. So if you're ever in Hiroshima, I highly suggest like visiting them. And on the other hand, the Kamera no Saeda, the sort of like the chain store type of shop, is located towards the what was it, the Hiroden Dori station, which is I think 20 minutes away from Hiroshima Station. So it's not really far away, but if you can allocate some time visiting those stores, I would highly recommend doing so. So yeah, that's basically it. Just talking about my visit going to Nishindo Camera. I highly suggest visiting them because it is a really unique experience. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative. If you have any questions, I am happy to reply. And yeah, we will see you next time. Peace out.